Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough to be doing it too. Welcome aboard the good ship Bushka on Blitz as we take another journey on the high seas of Let's Make a List. I'm not talking about the kind of shopping list your missus makes for you while she goes out to an all-night rave party. I'm not talking about a dance card. I'm not even talking about the three most influential people in your life. I'm talking about a list of the three tanks that I like the least in-game. And that is absolutely spot on. That's what this list is. At the start of the year, I made a change, a conscious sea change towards being more community-minded, taking more feedback from you guys and putting that into video format so that you guys get videos you actually want to watch on topics that you actually want to know about. And one of the topics that I posed was, give me your 5 most unfriendly tanks to drive. The tanks you like driving the least. The tanks that if you just see them on your team, you're like, And I got a lot of feedback on that. An awful lot of tanks. And there were a lot of finalists. There was this one here, the M3 Lee. There was the T110E3, the T28 Prototype. And good God, wasn't that a hard one to leave off the podium, as they say. The top 3. And just for clarification, I didn't include stock. Like, driving stock is just not on. The AT series, I had a whole bunch of people tell me any tank with an AT in the title is a tank that I don't want to drive, apart from the AT2. And I looked at all these things and I took them on the board and then I ran them through the prism that is my own personal opinion. And I did drive quite a few of them just to see if I was remembering incorrectly or misremembering or someone else was doing better. And like this, the M3 Lee, I drove the M3 Lee and guess what? I did really, really well. First game out, got a 7-kill RAS and a mastery, and it was very, very hard to then turn around and say, this tank sucks, because it's got a 75mm at tier 4 and it can work. It's got a lot of gun depression too. I drove the T28 Prototype. I drove a lot of tanks, but the 3 tanks I like the least in the game are these 3. Now, that's going quite a ways, considering that a lot of people know how little I like the 183, but that's not because the tank is bad. In fact, I think the tank is very, very good. The reason I don't like the 183 is the influence it has on the meta. But the T28, I don't like because, let's be honest, it's not a good tank. It's exceptionally slow. It's very, very hard to get this thing anywhere. And it is so dependent on your team not being absolute muppets. And once you start driving in one direction, that's it. You're committed. You are no longer going any other direction. If you turn around, you're just going to get hit in the butt because you are literally going that slow. And once you get multiple angles firing at you, like tanks from the left, you see there's a bit of a plume coming up in the dirt next to me there. So there are people firing at me from the left. There's 211. That's going to be the Carnarvon over there. Tap, 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 taparooing away for 211. And now I'm screwed because I can't angle to the left and the right at the same time. I basically have to sit here until I kill the SP1C on my right, but I'm going to get around that by backing away very slowly towards the enemy. Oh, by the way, I mentioned that I've got 50mm of side armor, so everyone in the world can hit me in the side. So here I am, traversing at an amazing rate towards the enemy, and then I'm going to drive forward, shoot that bloke, and then I'm going to traverse around as they drive around and shoot me in the side again. Oh, what fun. Oh, what fun this is to have the fun, the fun, the fun, the fun. It's a terrible tank. Terrible tank. Terrible tank. It is terrible. Now let's reverse side scrape to the guy on my left. Let's drive around here. Start traversing again. Hope he misses. Good, he missed. That's great. Get ready for the next shot. Oh, I got that bloke. Start driving forward. Bouncy McBouncerson. And you might say, hey, you're bouncing shots, but that's because the armor profile in this tank is a zero-sum equation. And once they get on your side, start writing your letters home because it is all over. You can't turn the tank anymore. What do I mean by a zero-sum equation? Well, it's very, very simple. There is an absolute. If they can pen the front of your tank with APCR or AP, you have no armor because you can't side scrape the tank. You've got 50mm of side armor. You can't wiggle and jiggle the tank because you have about 2 degrees of traverse, and you can't drive it very, very quickly out of any situations because, as you can see here, you would go faster if you put a sail on the thing and started tacking upwind in a heavy sea. It's a bad tank. I don't like the tank, but I'm going to show you another game in it because I'm an absolute sadomasochist and I just like to flagellate myself with the brutality that is the T28 Prototype. Now you're going to see the thing that really upsets me in Blitz is complete lack of mobility, okay? And that's not true for the tank I like the least in Blitz. And I like to drive the least, let's call it that, because in all these tanks, you can still succeed, right? And I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit facetious here, because I know that you can park these tanks at the back of the pack and just shoot your gun. But I ask you, genuinely ask you, is that your idea of a recipe for success and a good tank? Because I could park the T28 Prototype or the T28 or the T110E3, all of which I think are pretty terrible tanks at the moment, at the back. But I could also do that with a Type 61 or a Leopard PTA or a Jag Tiger or any other tank and get the same kind of gameplay, only much, 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 much better. And so when your whole edifice is built around the idea that you're just not going to be seen and you're going to be at the back so no one can shoot you when you're very, very thin, wafer-thin sides, that's a bad tank. Now there is a T34 pushing up here. I don't have the gun depression. There is an SU-152 on my right. I'm like, oh dude, I've driven all over the place. I just want to shoot this bloke over here. I'm going to bounce that bloke, get hit for 640 on the right. I'll just sit here and do nothing. And while I'm doing nothing, I'll wait for someone else to push up. Yeah, riveting. Just riveting. No, I can't get that shot off. He's going to have to drive over there and shoot me. You beaut. Got it. Got it. Oh, but hang on. He's got good pen. Oh, well, he'll just go straight through my armor. That's it. My armor is literally pointless. As soon as he can go through my armor, it does nothing. It is the goggles. They do nothing. And here comes the SU-152 and the ISU-152. And I'm currently doing the reverse hokey pokey, hoping that other people save me. And there's the SU. We'll just clear him now. Ah, Bouncy McBouncerson. Uh-oh, someone kill him before he gets to me, please! Ow! We bounced him. Oh my goodness gracious me. So if you have enough pen, you can go through the front. And if you don't have enough pen, you can't go through the front. That's your armor profile. This thing, I had to dead set, like, I am driving as fast as I possibly can out of the spawn on Mayan here. And I am doing 20 kilometers an hour max. Now, they buffed the armor. Big deal. It's still flat as a pancake. It looks like a boat. It looks like a boat with a box in the middle. You go nowhere fast. You've got a flat armor profile. Do you know what flat armor means? You're going to get penned. It doesn't stop anything. The armor's crap. The mobility is crap. The gun is amazing, but guess what? Every time you fire, and they fire back, you get penned. And you don't have great traverse, and you don't have great mobility, and you're flat, and you're ugly as sin. Like, it's like you fell out of the ugly tree when you were made, and you hit every single branch on the way down. And it doesn't help when the leopard in front of you goes sideways in front of the enemy, and then you've got to rework this bloody big lumbering Churchill Gun Carrier all over the place, and just bounce a shot off into the wild blue yonder there, as you saw. And then there's tanks in front of you, so you've got to press forward again. And are you noticing how little I like tanks that have absolutely no mobility? It's a bad tank. It's a bad tank. One of the reasons I don't like tanks that are slow is because you literally can't decide how the game is engaged. Your only conscious decision can be whether you drive slowly towards where you hope the rest of the team has gone and get involved in general malaise like this, where you just go like, go, push. I'm doing 20 kilometers an hour here, guys. Can we get moving? Please. I'll get to the fight soon. Geez, it'd be lovely to be engaged and part of the gameplay. Here we go. Oh, hooray. Let's go around this corner. Oh, no, we're not going around the corner. Damn straight we're going around the corner. You get to choose between sitting at the back and pressing a button, which any tank can do. Any tank can get that. But without the mobility, you also get to sit at the back and press the button. And then if they catch you, you just get to get wrecked. And I'm going to show you an example of that in just a wee while. Gee, you're going to love this one. The next game is just a highlight to the incredible armor profile and resilience of the Churchill Gun Carrier. And look, let's be honest, this is the ugliest tank in the game. This is easily the ugliest tank in the game. Like, this is so British, this tank. Whoever built this tank had all the style of a brick with eyes. Like, it is a lumbering, ugly behemoth. Like, it makes the Tog look like a belly dancer. Oh, look, it's taken off. Here I come. Hang on, I'm coming around the corner. Yep, shoot everyone else but me. As long as they sit still in front of you, the tank will wail. We bounced a shot. Someone buy a lottery ticket, we bounced a shot. Oh my goodness gracious me. I don't know how they make this tank worth driving. You get teams like this where your team is bad. Like, we have 3 heavy tanks. You know where they are. They're in the corner. They went to the corner. And I started driving left and no one had come with me, so I ended up going, I'm screwed. I can't move down now. It's too late. Everyone's in the corner sniping. Like, here I am. Great, right? There's a tank. It's in front of me. Oh, there's 2 tanks. I'm just going to get penned. Let's just get penned. I'll bounce that bloke. Oh, he'll pen me. Tier 6, pen me. Tier 6, pen me. Like, this, they buff the armor. It does nothing. Like, Penny McPennison. Get penned, get penned and like, yeah, penned. Get penned. Yep, great. Pen, penalty, pen. Gonna clear this bloke. Excellent. And then the super high penetration shells of the Easy 8. Yeah, angle that. Just angle that. And he's still, all the blokes in the corner still killing it. Yeah, loving life. Here's number 3, the toaster. The death toaster. It's terrible. Again, I tell you, if you have to drive a tank and sit at the back for it to be worthwhile, it's not a great tank. You can't, like the Dicker Max, you can use gun depression, crazy gun depression, and get the gun over the front and go, and go and peek-a-boom like that. This thing is called a toaster because it looks like a toaster. It looks like you're about to pop 2 slices of white or rye, dead set in the top, let it percolate for about 75 seconds, and bring it out to feed the kids for breakfast. It is ugly. It is pointless. It's a lot like my hairline. It is absolutely anybody's, but nobody wants it. I love the idea that some people tell me, oh, the gun's amazing. That's great. That's really, really good. You know what you can do with your gun? You can sit it behind a bush somewhere and wait for other tanks to go out in front of you, and then you can go pew 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 pew. I don't like it. If you like it, I don't like it. That's the toaster. You know the other thing that really grinds my gears about this tank? If you use the top gun, you have such bad gun traverse that anytime you turn the gun left to right to track a target, it moves the tank. The wheels of the tank move to follow the target, and that means that you break camouflage and you just get pumped. You can see this bloke here, every shell he fires is going to go in. Like, there's nothing we can do about that. As soon as they get you on target, you have like the worst armor profile in the game. No joke. This is the worst armor profile in the game. It's a giant box. It's like someone took a giant cardboard box and sat it on top of a lawnmower. That's what you have right here. And you've got a broomstick handle poking out the front that anytime you turn it left to right, you get screwed. And I want to show you a glorious moment here. Now, this is, again, a little bit tongue-in-cheek because I knew that I shouldn't be doing this. But I wanted to highlight just how crazy this tank is. Now, it should be noted, you can be successful in every tank. There is no 2 ways around it. I've had big games in the toaster and I've had big games and I can play them. And yes, I know I'm probably driving out the wall. I'm being shock jockeying and overselling how bad they are because these are my 3 least favorite tanks, right? They're my choices. You don't have to have the same choices. We could all have different choices. But look at the armor profile. Everything pens you. And when you can't dictate the terms of a fight, when you have to hide between every shot and then hope that no one's looking your way if you want to move around the battlefield, and you don't have a turret or crazy good mobility or a tank that can, have enough gun depression to make things work, then you're a bad tank. You're a terrible, terrible tank. Here comes this AMX. Awesome. He is like death on a stick for me. He is the last thing I want to be dealing with. he can just go around me like I'm standing still. He comes at, you know, snapshot one off, yeah. Every shot goes into you. Every shot. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Hit him with HE. Oh, dear God. Got him, you beaut. Got him. Here I come. I'm turning. Oh, hit me. Don't hit me. You are enormous. Everyone can hit you. There is no escaping the fact that you are so big, everyone can hit you. Don't like it. Don't like the tank. Don't want to play it. Won't play it. Chucking my toys out of the cot and going home for a good, hard lie down.